Can I have the next slide, please, Tamara? Hello, good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to International Student Orientation. We are so happy that you are joining us today. My name is Katie Russo. I am the Assistant Director of Intercultural Programs here at UT Dallas. Just a few logistics before we get into the presentation. You can see and hear us, but we cannot see or hear you. You will be able to ask questions. On the right side of your screen, there should be a comment box that looks like two conversation bubbles. So you can submit a question and we will go through questions at the end of the session. Additionally, if you need language support, closed captioning is available. You should look for the CC button on the right side of your screen, and you'll be able to have that translated into many different languages, whatever one you need. However, next slide, please. Without further ado, I'd like to share a little bit of information about our presenters. So we have Dr. Goodrich from Jindal School of Management, and we have Dr. Cobb, who will be presenting from the Computer Science Department, Engineering and Computer Science, I believe. So Dr. Goodrich will be up first. She's going to share some resources about JSON and how to be successful as a virtual student here at UT Dallas. So take it away, Dr. Goodrich.
Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. And it's great to meet all of you. Dajahal, Annyeonghaseyo, and Namaste. And pretty soon I'll be able to say howdy, guys, and you'll start learning a little bit about Texas culture. One of the things that might be most surprising about being in Texas is how friendly people are. And you will have people on the streets saying, hello, hi, how are you? And you might be a little bit surprised by that. So I wanted to give you a little bit of some advice. Some of this is more specific for our JSON students, but also some of it is general for everyone. So if you could move to the next slide, please. So a little bit about myself. I have been teaching at UTD for over 18 years. I am an accounting professor, so I have certifications related to accounting, a lot of those. I've also authored a book, and I am the faculty advisor for Ascend, which is the Pan-Asian Leaders in Business. So if you are in JSON, this is an organization that if you are from one of the Pan-Asian countries, you might want to look into that. I'm also the ICF faculty advisor, International Christian Fellowship faculty advisor. So some students get rides from ICF when they first join us here at UTD. We have different programs like the Big Howdy, which has been done virtually for the last couple of semesters. And I'm also on the Senate, and I'm helping other faculty to transition to online learning that we've had to do over the spring and summer semesters. And I'm also helping them to get transition for fall 2020. Now, I run an English conversation hour course at my church. I've lived in China for 2.5 years, and I don't know if any of you are from China. Maybe you can see on my mug, this is the Shanghai World Finance Center. I lived in Shanghai, and I feel like Shanghai is kind of a lot like Dallas. It's a world finance area, great shopping, great dining, and that type of thing. But living in China really gave me even a bigger appreciation for my international students. Now, I've been married for 25 years. I have 3 sons. And really my purpose today is to get you excited about the decision that you've made here to come to UTD, and also just to encourage you in some different ways to really tap into the resources that are available to you. If you could move to the next slide, please. So a couple of things I want to kind of cover. You have made a great choice. Studying in a new country just shows that you're very brave and that you're, really curious and wanting to get out. And you've made this decision to study in a new country, and you really want to take advantage of that. Now, a lot of you are master's students. 2 years goes by very, very fast. And if you're an undergraduate student, guess what? 4 years goes by very, very fast also. Dallas is a great city. I love the weather. It doesn't get too cold. So a lot of students really enjoy that about Dallas, that it doesn't get cold, but it does get very hot in the summer. I do want you to know that. But UTD is a great community too. We have wonderful resources for all of our students and particularly for our international students. And I feel like you're going to instantly feel like it's a family here. There are many, many resources available to you, both in the school overall and in your different departments or the different areas that you're working in. So today you're going to be hearing from one of our computer science professors and from me, but each of the different schools have resources that are specialized for their area. So I would just encourage you to really jump in. It's really what you make of your time here. And if you jump in, even while you're maybe virtually from your home country, it's going to make a huge difference on the ability for you to assimilate into the culture of UTD. So if you can move to the next slide, please. What do I know about international students? Now, I've mentioned I've been teaching for 18 years, and of all of those 18 years, I've had students from all over the world, and it's really made my job as a professor better, richer. It's given me a perspective that I wouldn't have had in any other type of career. International students are willing to take risks. You are doing something in your young life that most people, even my age, would not be comfortable doing. So you're going to study in a different country than what you're used to. I also know that international students love to make good grades, but I do want to encourage you that that's not the only thing you should focus on. International students want to have opportunities and they really want to land a job and internship and want to be successful. So these are some of the things that I know international students across the board that I've met have kind of met this criteria. So if you can move to the next slide, please. So here's what I would encourage you to do. Look at the total picture, not just your grades. When people interview you for a job, they don't care that you just have a 4.0. They really want to know, are you someone that we want to work with? Are you someone that's comfortable in the culture? So that's my next one that I encourage you to do, is assimilate into the culture. I really feel like as an international student, your goal should be to make best friends, make close friends with people from other cultures besides your own. Is it uncomfortable? Yes, but you will learn and become a better person by having friends from different cultures. One of my closest friends is from India. Another one of my very close friends is from Iran, and I learn so much from them just because they have a different perspective. I would also encourage you to focus on soft skills, and this may not be something that you typically have spent a lot of time on, but learning how to say howdy folks and really learning how to have small talk. This is one that a lot of my international students really don't have a lot of exposure to, of just shooting the breeze, what we call shooting the breeze. You might have to look that up, but talking, chit-chatting, just getting to know each other. These are some of the things that we really try to do. And in Texas, people really spend time to get to know you, and they really do care about you. And that might feel a little bit weird or different, but again, I encourage you to work on your soft skills of meeting people, of getting interested in people that you maybe don't have as much in common with. Look around and take advantage, but be grateful. So if there are sessions, and I do want to encourage you to look into these, there are a lot of sessions that are Career Center, the big Career Center does. There's also sessions that our Jindal School of Management Career Center is doing that are related to virtual interviews, regular interviews, LinkedIn. Take advantage, but be grateful. Make sure you thank the people that are helping you with things. And I would really encourage you to build meaningful relationships. You can start that with the students in your class. You can start that with your professors. And then my encouragement is also to give back. Get involved in organizations that you are passionate about and give back with your skills and your background. One thing I found with international students is the ones that decide to come and study in the United States are some of the smartest, most driven students and people in the entire world. So you have a lot to give back. If you see that there's something in your school that needs help, volunteer to help with that. And giving back will allow you to really build those meaningful relationships. And then my last thing that I want to encourage you to do is explore and have fun. Some of the locations here in Dallas that I've really enjoyed either, sending my students to, or even going with my student groups to, like the Dallas Arboretum, or going and seeing the JFK museum. All of these will allow you to really get to understand the climate that you live in, and help you to also be an ambassador when your family and friends come to visit, because you'll be more confident about some of the fun things that are available to you. So if you can move to the next slide, please. So now this is a little more specific about JSON resources for our Jindal School of Management students that are on the call, but we do have a specific career management center in JSON. So I would encourage you to find out about those resources. And even if you are going to be studying from your home country in fall, I would encourage you to look into these sessions. Now, they will be having all of the sessions, at least at this point in time, virtually. So that means you will be able to attend all of the sessions that they have available. Now, it might be at 2 a.m. in the morning your time, but again, I would encourage you to look into those and try to attend those as much as possible. Also, your program directors, and I would say this for all the schools, are a wealth of information. We also have our JSON advising on the second floor of JSON if you are going to be joining us here in UTD in Richardson, Texas, but that's on the second floor. You can access your program directors and JSON advising virtually as well. We also have a business communication center. One of the things that I've found that international students maybe need a little bit of extra support on is their professional business writing skills. So for example, all of you that are in JSON will be taking a professional development course, or you might be taking the accounting communications course with me, which is the alternate for the professional development course. There are a lot of written assignments, including your resume, a cover letter, getting your LinkedIn profile up to date, creating a biography, creating a meaningful email. And the Business Communication Center can help you with those courses, or any of the courses where you have a writing component or even a presentation component. I also want to encourage you to get involved in clubs and organizations and e-learning training. This is something you could do now. And we're going to talk a little bit about success in your virtual classes, and then the My JSON app and LinkedIn Jindal Connect. So if you can move on to the next slide. The number one thing I would tell you is you can't get what you want until you know what you want. So some of you may be coming over here to UTD because you know exactly what you want to do. And if that's you, I'm really proud of you for knowing what you want to do. But a lot of students just know generally, I want to be, an accountant or an auditor. I want to be in business analytics, but you don't know specifically what you want. This is where I would encourage you to really look at the careers. Go to the Career Management Center. If you're in one of the other schools besides JSON, go to the General Career Management Center. And then there are actually aptitude tests that you can take. As a student, these are offered to you for free. Usually aptitude tests cost several $100s if you have to take them and pay for them. These are offered by our regular Career Center. And research about the jobs that are available, and really use that to guide the types of work that you're going to be doing. Because really, if you have an idea of where you want to go, you're going to be able to get the most out of your career and the most out of your courses. You're going to know exactly what courses to take, and it's really going to make a big difference. So just remember, that's one of the first things you want to do. And even now, right before the semester starts, maybe be thinking about, what is it that I really am hoping? What is the end goal? What is the thing that I'm really hoping for? And that's what I would encourage you to do, is then create all the other opportunities to go along with that. Next one, please. So like I said, know where you want to go before your last semester. As I mentioned before, a lot of you are graduate students. 2 years goes by very fast. If you're an undergrad student, 4 years still goes by very fast. If you're a PhD student, well, you're going to be so busy doing research that it's going to go by fast as well. but know where you want to go before your last semester. So I would really encourage you to sign up with the Career Management Center, go to the virtual sessions, as I mentioned before, and register with Hire JSON, which is powered by Handshake, as soon as you possibly can, because you want to go and find out, start going to information sessions with companies that you might have an interest in now. And that's where you can start building the relationship and building your network of organizations that you might be interested in. Next slide, please. So this right here is the link for the Career Management Center. Remember that your career is about you and what you really want to do. And if you're excited about it, you're going to have that fuel to really push through. So I really encourage you to think about that end goal as you're going through and thinking about your courses. And every semester that you go through, I want you to think about, did I like this course or did I love this course? Why? What was it about this course that I really, really loved? And if it's something that you really loved, try to find other courses similar to that. So maybe you're in accounting and you take an audit course and you just love that. So then you want to take an advanced audit course and start really looking at, is this the area that I'm interested in? So I would just encourage you to realize that this is your responsibility. Where you go is going to be up to you, and whether you're able to, be successful in that is going to be up to you being purposeful in what you do. Next slide, please. So these are going to be some of your really good friends when you get to Career Management Center. Jason Cirillo teaches the PD course that I mentioned, as does Neil Johnson. I'm pretty sure he teaches it as well, and Royce Jones. So these are all folks that can help you with career coaching, resume guidelines, a cover letter that you're writing, interview strategies, LinkedIn, and networking. So again, you might want to write down jindal.careers@utdallas.edu. That's going to be a very helpful email for you to find out. And then I would just go into the UTD website and look at the Career Management Center. And I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Now, all of the sessions that I told you about that are virtual sessions will be advertised on Handshake. So get registered with Handshake as soon as you can. And I would encourage you to go to some of those sessions in between your courses. Next slide, please. So I mentioned before that one of the first courses that you're going to be taking is the MAS 6102 Professional Development course, or you'll be taking a course with me called Accounting 6388, Accounting Communications. And I think some students are able to take my course in lieu of MAS 6102 because my course also has a project component with a real live company. But in these courses, it's going to really help you with your branding. So what is branding? That's really, who is Mary Beth Goodrich, or who is whatever your name is? What is it that you're wanting to do? What are the areas that you're interested in? And really looking at how you can build your brand and make yourself more attractive to in the job search and that type of thing. Also, you're going to be focusing on a resume and cover letter. And this is very important to do in your first semester. So most students will take this in their first semester. And I would encourage you to do that if you're able to. Interview strategies, LinkedIn and networking, also getting on Handshake. So this is a great course to really springboard you into really looking at what your goals are. Next slide, please. As I mentioned before, your program directors are a lifeline for you. So I would encourage you to be working with your program director and get to know your program director really well. And this link right here is a great one. And if I'm able to, I'll try to put it into the chat, or ask one of our other folks to put that in the chat, because this one is a wonderful one to really get to know who your program director is and other people that you can work with directly related to your field. Next slide, please. So I mentioned the Business Communication Center, and Elizabeth, Aaron, and Sarah are some of my most favorite people because I do teach a communications class myself. I work very closely with them. Aaron Cummings has some amazing sessions where he helps you practice small talk. He helps you, like, when you start that first job, what's it like to chit chat at the water cooler or the getting a coffee with your colleagues. And Elizabeth Bruce runs the Communication Center along with Sarah Moore. And so if you're setting up virtual appointments, which again, you can set these appointments up virtually and go over some of the written pieces that you have in your course. And I would encourage you to do that because they will be people that can encourage you and push you to get your writing skills even better than they are now. Next slide, please. So you can see this is how to book a BCC WebEx appointment. The most important thing to write down is bcc.utdallas.edu. And again, you can see they help with so many things. I mentioned some of them, but I didn't even mention all of them, even APA citing and paraphrasing. One of the things that might be a little bit different here at UTD than it is in your home countries is we're very concerned about APA citing. And if you use the work of another person, that you need to have it in quotes or you need to have it paraphrased. And that is actually kind of an art form. So you can have a session on paraphrasing to find out the best ways to do that. And they can help you with all these different areas. Next slide, please. So I kind of mentioned the English support that we have for international students. These are some of the ones that Erin Cummings does. So again, you can go email Erin or you can go look at the bcc.utdallas.edu and sign up for these. I would encourage you to sign up for any of these that you're interested in. Pronunciation, they even help you with those types of courses if you're afraid that your accent is not clear enough for people to understand. And then spoken English for professionals, business writing workshops, or even one-on-one English tutoring. So there are a lot of opportunities available. But again, you're not going to be able to tap into these unless you sign up for them. Next, please. So finding your people, this is very, very important. And there are hundreds of organizations at UTD that you can tap into. And this right here just kind of mentions some of the ones for Jindal School of Management. If you can move to the next slide. So you can see right here, this is the one for Ascend. This is one I'm very close to because Ascend is the one that I'm heading up right now as the faculty advisor. But you can see American Marketing Association, Analytics on In-Memory Database, Association for Information Systems, Association for Latino Professionals for America, Association for Operations Management. And this is just the A's and one of the B's, Beta Alpha Psi. So we've got, I think, over 40 within the JSON area, which are organizations that you can get into. What I encourage you to do is do at least one organization that's related to your field, but then go have something, do something fun. So if you're interested in soccer or you're interested in music, maybe go and do something that is related to those that are, you know, campus wide so that you can increase the amount of people that you get to meet. Next slide, please. So I wanted to talk a little bit about virtual courses, and I'm sure that students have more questions than answers on this. If you're studying from your home country, my encouragement is this. You have an opportunity to do a synchronous session or an asynchronous session. And I would encourage you to really try to do the synchronous sessions so that you can meet your professor and other students in the class, and you can really kind of see what the vibe of the course is. Now, if you're on campus, you might have the opportunity to take a classroom-based course. And if you're comfortable with that, I would encourage you to do that as well. But with virtual courses, you really need to understand the e-learning platform. So I have here some resources for you to understand e-learning. And most of your professors will be using Microsoft Teams, which is the system that we're using today. So I would encourage you to get comfortable with that as well. And if possible, have like a way that you can, you know, not just hear, but speak, have a way to show your face if that's possible. I know that that can take up a lot of bandwidth for you. So it may not be possible to show your video. But again, if you are speaking, try to make yourself known, get to meet people, say hello in the chat. And I wanted you to also know that some of the courses that you have, especially at the grad level in JSON, a lot of them will still have team projects. You might say, really, if it's remote? Yes. You might have team projects. So again, that gives you an opportunity to meet some students more closely. I also encourage you to log into eLearning daily. Go check the discussion board, go check your chat messages to see, or the email messages to see if you have anything. Your utdallas.edu email account, check that daily to make sure your professor hasn't sent something important to you, or you haven't received something important from your program. Ask questions, speak out, and be active. This may not be the way that you have conducted classes in your home countries, but we really want you to be participating. One of the hardest things that I found in teaching the online classes is when I speak and then I ask for questions and then it's like nothing. So I don't know if people understand me. I don't know if they're even listening. I don't really know what's going on. So I really encourage you to participate, even if it's just putting a little thumbs up that you understand. I also encourage you to push yourself. If you're doing an assignment, go above and beyond a little bit, but also most importantly, have fun. Really make sure that you're putting your time into the courses that you have. Next slide, please. So I also encourage you to get into LinkedIn, get into, we have a platform for JSON called Jindal Connect, and I would encourage you to get in there and you can actually request someone to be a mentor to you. So I would encourage you to do that. Next slide, please. Also, we have a My JSON app. If you have your phone, I would encourage you to pull up that app right now and get that My JSON app. It will have details about all of your professors and how to reach them, where the classes are, what the times of the classes are, and everything. So this is something I use almost on a daily basis, and I would encourage you to do so too if you're a JSON student. So let the adventure begin. And next slide, please. I just want to thank you for listening, and please, if you're a JSON student, reach out to me on LinkedIn and let me know if there's anything I can help with. Also, I'm on WeChat. If you want to link in with me on WeChat, that's fine too. And I am just excited that you're joining the UTD family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Goodrich. I hope all of you were able to get a lot of good information from her presentation. However, now we will hear from another professor, Dr. Jorge Cobb, from computer science. So Dr. Cobb, it is all you.
Thank you. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I think I unmuted myself. All right, awesome. So welcome everybody. Thank you for attending this session wherever you are. Good morning or good evening, depending on your location. I'm Jorge Cobb. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science, and I also have an appointment in the Computer Engineering program. Next slide, please. So a little bit about myself. I've been teaching here in UT Dallas since 1998. So I've been around here for quite some time. I got my PhD in '96, worked for another university for a few years, and then decided to go to greener pastures, so to speak, and then I moved over here. And I lived in Texas since 1983, so I've been here in Texas for quite a long time. It's quite an interesting background. I was born in the United States. When I was 1 year old, my dad retired, so the family moved to Mexico. And then I grew up in Mexico, and then I came back to the United States to do all my higher level education. So I got my bachelor's in El Paso, my master's and PhD in Austin. And now I work at UTD. So pretty much UT all the way, so to speak. I do research in several areas. I like to do work on software-defined networking, which is revolutionizing networks and making networks flexible and more powerful rather than the monolithic structures we used to have before. I do work on self-stabilizing systems, sensor networks, quality of service, scheduling, you name it, as long as it's an interesting problem and it's a challenging problem to my mind and to my students, I like to work on that. And the department has a great variety of research areas, which is one of the strengths of the department. We have computer security, data science, artificial intelligence, computer networks, software engineering, pretty much the whole spectrum, because we have grown significantly from the very beginnings when I was here, from 14 faculty members to what now is close to 50 faculty members, tenure track, not to mention professors of instruction, which we have like close to 20. So it's a very large department. And we are here eager and willing to help you in every way that we can to get yourself a great education. When I'm not doing computer science, I do some archery. More so a few years ago than now. My daughter got involved in archery when she was in high school and became the national champion for the archery in the school's program. So she did quite well, and we got myself some scholarship money out of that. Yes, and you know, I go sci-fi movies and camping with my family. And again, Texas is a fantastic place to go camping, by the way. So I've been here for a very long time, and God willing, I will be here for another 20 years or so. Next slide, please. So several core principles. We are committed to excellence in teaching and learning. So we in the engineering school and in computer science, we are focused on excellence. Our objective is to give you high quality instruction and to empower you to absorb information, to process that information. That's just absorption, but to process, analyze it, and manage it in your head. We challenge you to think outside the box and find new ways to solve the problems. So, of course, we want the flexibility. We want to make sure that everything is available to you always. And we have flexibility in methods of instruction and in how for you to obtain that instruction. And also, another core principle that we have is accessibility. So we want to overcome roadblocks to communication, and we want to make sure that we provide an equal opportunity to everybody to obtain a great education. Next slide, please. So in engineering, excellence in teaching and learning, we welcome the opportunity to tackle tough problems. We do not back away from any engineering problem. If anything, it's our motto, which I probably cannot even see it, but we have fearless engineering. That is our motto. No problem. Any engineering problem that is out there, we will tackle it full force until we solve it. Teaching remotely and online is yet another problem, you know, that we have to solve and adapt and put our minds into it and find clever and innovative solutions. There's a lot of allergies going on here in my area. So we're going to find innovative solutions to provide excellence in learning under all scenarios. And we drill down to core issues when you're studying a course and you're tackling a problem. We want to make sure that you understand every problem in its depth, to take away details that are unnecessary and empower you to obtain an abstraction of the problem and to understand the theory behind it. And to, of course, then design solutions that are theoretically sound once you understand the theory behind all the problem that is being handled, to design solutions that make theoretical good sense, and then find what is the best actual solution depending on trade-offs. There's always a trade-off. A solution might work better and faster one way, but it will use more memory, you name it. And to find a path to some efficient implementation of your solution. So our objective basically, of course, is to empower students to realize your full potential in engineering. Next slide, please. So flexibility. So location is not a constraint. It's what's in your mind that matters, right? What we're really trying to do is to make you think like an engineer, make you think like a scientist, be able to empower you to process information, and really doesn't matter where you are. It's what's inside your mind that matters. The information that you have, how well you have acquired it, how well you are at processing it. So there is, of course, time differences between here and other places. Think of it as travel with no jet lag. That's one way to think about it. You don't have to worry about jet lag, which is a pain every time I go to a conference, an international conference. Some of our classes are offered very early in the morning to make it easy for people on the other side of the world. One of my classes, actually discrete math, which is definitely taken by the vast majority, well, not vast majority, but a large number of new graduate students or master students, teaching it very early in the morning, precisely to give more accessibility to people. And the idea is to allow you to learn where and when it suits you. So to give you that flexibility to be able to attend the classes when it's possible for you, and give you that empowerment to be able to learn when it suits you. Next slide, please. So resources for learning and flexibility. We have, it's interesting how all the pandemic has affected methods of instruction. And I'll always put in my mind saying, how will this continuously affect methods of instruction after it goes away? Because typically in your course, what you would do, you would put your syllabus online, you would put your PowerPoint on slides online, which is what I typically do, right? And I always consider, well, maybe I should record classes and make them available online. This was before all the pandemic. And I was thinking, maybe I should do that. It would be interesting, but I never did quite, have a lot of time to find the appropriate mechanisms and the tools to do so. Now we have them, and they're readily available, and we all are becoming experts very quickly on handling all these tools. So you will have recordings of all the classes available to you to download and play any moment you want. Slideshow and video. And the recordings have also, for example, I like using Blackboard Collaborate. I will assume I will also end up using Microsoft Teams, but all the conversations or anything that is going on in the chat room will also becomes available to you later, even after the class has ended. So therefore, all of those materials and the interactions are available to you. We also have synchronous classes with student interaction, though that is the method that I chose. So I will be live given my class, the two classes that I have scheduled for the fall. They will be live. They will be, of course, be recorded, but they will be live, so people can ask questions on the spot. And I've heard some interesting stories about when we're moving from in-person to online in February and March, well, mostly March, I will think. It's fascinating how some students just opened up, right? So some students who do not feel like they like to raise their hand and open, ask questions during the class. Maybe they have a little bit of a stutter, or maybe they're somehow they don't feel comfortable, and they start asking questions like crazy in the chat room. So it has opened up some possibilities for many other students to ask questions and interact, simply because of the technology. So we have, regular, just like a regular class, you have your office hours. The students come and see me during office hours, just like they would do during a regular semester. You can have meetings and appointments at any time. Your professors just setting up, of course, in advance via email. And we have an army of teaching assistants to help with all the laboratory assignments and to, of course, grade your homeworks, but also have office hours and answer questions about the material. So your interaction is pretty much the same as it was before regularly in-person classes, but it may actually open up again more to some people who prefer nowadays to ask questions in the chat room and be virtually present that way. Next slide, please. So accessibility, we want to give a fair chance everybody to learn. So we have different abilities, but we want to enable every single student to reach their maximum potential. So lucky for us, technology nowadays allows this to happen. So we're going to have live captions for synchronous sessions, and the videos that are made of the synchronous sessions, they will be closed caption. And MS Teams allows us through another process allows us to do so. Think about it. When I was in graduate school, this would not have been possible. Had the pandemic or something similar happened back when I was in graduate school or in college, I don't know what would have happened, right? Luckily, it happened at the time when there is the technology and the resources available to make your presence and your interaction pretty much the same as it would have been in person. So all the syllabus, all the recordings, all assignments, everything will be again available online. And we can accommodate specific needs for classes and specific needs for examinations. If you cannot attend the exam at the same time as the synchronous class, that's okay. We give you a window of opportunity. You can take the exam at a later time during the day if it conflicts with your work or if it conflicts with some responsibilities that you may have, etc. So we have that flexibility and accessibility. Next slide, please. So I don't talk much, as you can tell. So we have a faculty that is committed to an intellectually satisfying education for all. So we have the same high standards as in-person teaching. The material is the same. The expectations from you as a student are the same. Nothing has really changed. It is still high quality, intensive learning. We may not be able to give you a high five, okay, but other than that, it will be pretty much the same experience. So it is an opportunity for everybody, for you and for us, you know, to up our game, right? With providing innovative ways to teach and learn. So I spent a lot of time playing with different tools, different methods. When I teach, I have a PowerPoint open and I have a PDF, you know, a white PDF open. And as I give the PowerPoint, I switch between the PowerPoint and the white PDF, which I annotate with the tablet. So it's like having a whiteboard and the PowerPoint, just like I would have in a regular classroom. So awesome for technology. I encourage you to visit the computer science website. It has a huge amount of information. You can find there everything from the research groups that we have, lots of different groups for students, the ACM, the security group, the Graduate Students Association, you name it. We have tons of groups that you can join and interact with other students. If you have questions for general advising, Professor Karrah, K-A-R-R-A-H, will be your main point of contact. He was unable to be here today, but Professor Karrah will be your main point of contact. And myself, especially if you are a PhD student, I'm the director of PhD studies. So if you're a PhD student, one of your first contacts would be me. For graduate students in general, Professor Karrah. And we also give new student orientations, which you may have participated, and we have recordings available for those. So if you haven't seen a recording for a new student orientation or missed it, let us know. We'll try to find you. We'll send you the link for that. And feel free to contact me. My email is very, very simple. My email is just Cobb, C-O-B-B, my last name, at UT Dallas EDU, and that will certainly reach me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Cobb. So we have opened the Q&A. So we hope that you can post your questions. You'll see that the staff has posted a few links already. So some of the contact information for Dr. Cobb, Dr. Kara, who is also joining us, and Dr. Goodrich, of course.
I didn't see you, Sam. Sorry.
Yes, Dr. Kara is here. As Dr. Cobb mentioned, Dr. Kara helps with the graduate students in computer science. So he is the guy that you'll talk to. But if you have other questions, please feel free to post them. Flower is going to read off some questions if we have them. So do we have any, Flower?
Yes, we do. So the first question. I'm a new international student and will be joining UTD virtual. Oh, that just disappeared.
Welcome to all of our new UTD students joining virtually. Just for those of you, I guess, who are joining virtually, we posted a few links that might be helpful. So Flower, our student worker, posted the different learning modes. At the top of the chat, you should be able to see that. So if you're confused about the synchronous, the asynchronous, the hybrid, the flex, I know I don't know it all. So that is explained on that website. And she also posted some of the contact information. We also posted some IT resources. So if you are learning virtually, you might need some software, or you might need to learn how to use the platforms. I know Dr. Goodrich talked about WebEx and Teams, which we're using right now. That's Microsoft. But there are so many resources for students, and the Information Technology Office is amazing. So they have a whole page of links that you can look into those systems, and you can contact professors, or your department might give you the platforms you need to make sure you have available.
Right.
Right. What other questions do we have, Flower?
Okay, so we have one. I'm a new incoming student and will be joining in person. May I attend all classes in person?
Any of our professors?
I can answer that. It depends on whether your professor is going to be teaching the classes in person or not. It's a little bit on Course Book, you should be able to go and look at your courses and see. If it says that it's a flexible course, then you have the opportunity to enroll to take the course in the classroom. As Dr. Cobb mentioned, he's teaching his 2 classes in the classroom. I'm teaching 5 classes. I'm actually teaching mine in the classroom, but that also means that students can take it remotely as well. So that's always going to be an option for students to take it synchronously or even asynchronously. So as long as your professor is offering the course in the classroom, you can take it in the classroom.
All right, yeah, awesome. How will
I'm sorry.
You can go ahead.
There was a question that I thought was really good, and I don't know if it just came to me privately or not, but someone asked, how do the office hours work for virtual office hours for professors? And what I would encourage you to do on this is each professor kind of does it differently. So like, for example, over the summer, I did office hours on Blackboard Collaborate. Some of the professors do it on Teams. Some of them might do it in a different way. So what I would encourage you to do is look at your professor's syllabus and figure out the best way to do it. They may also just do it through email. So every professor kind of has the ability to do that in different ways. And so I would encourage you, if you are wanting to reach out to your professor, to just check the syllabus out for their preferred method.
Awesome, thank you. And then we also have a question, and it was asked, but do you think enrolling for an in-person class and choosing a synchronous option would limit our opportunity of learning? Will the content shared asynchronously, not be at par with the content shared online or virtual course?
I can comment a little bit on that one. The content, the material, the recordings will be exactly what you would have in class. The The only, I would think, disadvantage of choosing asynchronous, if the class is synchronous, right? If the class is live, but you cannot attend during those times, is that you can't ask questions on the spot, right? That is the one, and perhaps the only disadvantage, because everything else is the same. Same material. I mean, you literally have a recording as if you were present there, including all the questions that all the students are asking, everything that might be asked either through the microphone, live, or in the chat room. So you have exactly the same experience. It's just that by not being attending the live sessions, you can't really ask questions on the spot, which of course you can ask during office hours, obviously. But if possible, do attend live. I mean, that way you can follow the train of thought and actually ask questions on the spot.
Thank you so much. We seem to be all out of questions.
I have a question. So Dr. Goodrich, Dr. Cobb, and Dr. Kara, what would be your tips for a student who is learning virtually, maybe studying from their home country, to be successful? So what's like the top 3 recommendations that you guys have?
Stay in contact at all times with your email. Please don't forget that is our main official form of communication with you. So when I do an assignment, for example, of course I post it on eLearning, but I also send out an email from eLearning to all the students on the spot. So you will, even if you don't log into eLearning for some reason, but if you're checking your UT Dallas email, you will realize there's an assignment coming. So by all means, check your email all the time and stay in touch. Even if for some reason 1 or 2 days you got busy with something, work or something else, stay in touch with your email, please.
I would say for the assignments, the students that don't do well on my assignments don't read the assignments really well to see what the requirements are. And so I would really spend time reading what is expected in the assignment. And then if you have questions on what is expected, reach out to your professor, post it on the discussion board. And also, one thing that I found is if you're assigned chapters of reading, read the chapters. There's a reason why we're asking you to read it. So it's a part of the learning process. And a lot of times I'll ask you to read the chapter before coming to class. And that's going to allow you to have a richer experience in the class. So that's one area where I feel like students maybe fall a bit short, is they don't like to read the chapters. It's not fun or whatever. I would just encourage you that it's your active participation that's going to allow you to do well. So read the chapters and really read over what the expectations are.
I would recommend 3 things. One is that read the syllabus before the class begins so that you know the expectations of the class. 2, stay in touch with your professor. For any questions regarding assignments, tests, quizzes, the professor will help you out to the maximum extent. 3, very important, if you are falling behind in class, talk to the professor, talk to the TA. You got lots of resources to catch up with the class. So make use of all the resources that are provided to you.
And that's another thing. If you're having technical difficulties or some kind of issue, you need to reach out to us immediately. Even something maybe personal that's happening in your life that may be impacting you. Unfortunately, this summer, I've had some students that have lost their parents, family members, and it's really was impacting them. And they just needed a couple of extra days to complete the assignments because they were mourning their loved one. Most of the time we can accommodate those types of requirements, but if you just don't turn the assignment in and don't tell us anything, we're not going to know what's going on with you. So again, you need to be proactive. If you have to miss a test because your internet went down, somehow try to get in touch with your professor and let them know what's going on, because we can't read your mind. So that's another thing I wanted to add to.
Okay, can I add a tip to all of you? I am not a professor, but I'm a staff member, and I'm currently working from home. So I could very easily just sit on my couch and watch Netflix while I'm doing reports or communicating through email. But I'm going to be distracted doing that. I'm probably not going to be working very efficiently. So my recommendation is have your set class times. So even if you are not on campus, even if you're taking an asynchronous class when you get to watch that video or recording whenever you want, decide, okay, from 5:00 p.m. to 6:00 p.m., I'm going to work on this class. And you set that time for yourself and that expectation, and you are only focused on academics at that time. Let your family know, whoever is in your home know that you need that private space, because you will not be as efficient if you are trying to multitask, maybe taking care of your children or cooking dinner while you're trying to watch a recording. I do not recommend doing that. So my suggestion is to try to block out certain times of your day that work for you when you can complete your coursework and get that done. Do we have more questions, Flower?
No, but I'd also like to give a little bit of advice. As a student myself, I tell y'all, like being on GroupMe, we have groups for each and every class, and it really helps you stay on top of what's going on in class, especially when you have a busy schedule, because then you're able to communicate with your fellow students. So any links that are sent to you, like join our class GroupMe, definitely join them and participate and just get in touch with people.
Yes, that is always a good recommendation.
Yeah. Just like Flowers said, that get in touch with your friends. So keep in touch with your peers. We have student organizations within School of Management, within School of Engineering and Computer Science. Be in touch with them. They will tell you how they are handling their stress or classroom work. So sharing your knowledge will certainly help you be more successful.
Absolutely. Well, if we don't have any more questions, we can wrap up our session. I do want to say we posted some ISSO links as well. They have a COVID fact or FAQ page from ISSO. So if you have questions about whether you can stay in the US and take online classes, or how does their system work when it comes to meeting ICE and USCIS rules and guidelines, excuse me, ISSO will be the best place for you to find that information. So I posted their COVID FAQ page, and that's really helpful. And then I will also post their virtual start page. So those students who may not be in the United States and you're starting remotely, you're a brand new student, I'm going to post this one as well. And that is a really good, helpful resource as well. But I want to say thank you to all of our presenters, Dr. Goodrich, Dr. Cobb, Dr. Kara, thank you so much. And we hope you will all be able to attend our next session on Thursday. You'll get to see myself and Flower participating in this one. And we will talk a little bit about adjusting to life at UT Dallas, whether you're virtual or in person. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Stay safe.